Greetings to all watching this video. My name is Srikanth Rajkumar, and the topic that I've chosen for the Mathematics Art Integrated Learning project is the usage of mathematics in the raga system of Carnatic music. Carnatic music has had a long history. It had its roots all the way from the simple passages written in praise of the Lord to Upanishads and Vedas that had some musical tone but not much else. Then it started getting transformed into the bhajans, and later on, the compositions that are still relevant today, written by great stalwarts of the subject like Saint Tyagaraja, Muthuswami Dikshitar, and Shyama Shastri, and many more, which brought in a variety of ragas and talas into the subject to what it is today, a vast, mega subject, so much musical theory and lots of structure. Now, what I want to get into today is how we came from this small, indefinite subject to what it is today, this vast subject with so much structure. Something indefinite without structure to this something vast with structure. Now, the only thing that will come to mind in this aspect is the usage of mathematics in this subject. Without the usage of mathematics to define the entire subject, to create some structure, we would not have got to where we are today. It has long been known and proven by science that the same part of the brain that produces music is also one that gives rise to logical reasoning and the use of mathematics in the subject. Today I will be getting into further detail of the raga system and the usage of mathematics in this way. The whole of Carnatic music is defined by the Saptaswaras in its raga system at least. There are the Saptaswaras, or 7 different notes, define the whole of the rest of the music. Those notes are Sa, Ri, Ga, Ma, Pa, Da, Ni. Now, one must also know while learning raga that there exists a certain scale, beginning with what is called an arohana, which is a structured increase or a gradual increase in octaves from generally starting from the lower sa ending at a higher sa. And this pattern is specific to each different ragas. Maybe it can be a gradual increase from sa, ri, ga, ma, pa, da, ni, sa, or it can have some variations like sa, ma, ga, ma, pa, da, ni, sa, and different structures like that. It must not contain all notes. That's what a scale of a raga is generally defined. That being the arohana is the ascent and the avarohana is the descent. Now, who can be credited for the mathematics inculcation part of the Carnatic music? This definitely will be accredited to Venkatamaki, who created the 72 raga Melakarta system, which tries to include all ragas that contain all 7 notes with a very structured ordered ascent and descent, or arohana, avarohana, which contains each of those 7 notes. So in the 72 raga Melakarta system, since all of the notes in the Saptaswara exist from its ascent to its descent, we must also, how does Venkatamaki get 72 different ragas? Well, let us calculate that. Now we must first know that there might exist some variation in each of the notes in a given Shruti. Let us take Sa and Pa first. These do not have any variations for a given Shruti. They will have an exact frequency value and no other change. But if we take, for example, Ri, Ga, Da, and Ni, they do have some variations. They have 3 different variations. They might have some lower frequency, then a gradual increase in frequency, and then a little higher frequency, all within a given range in each note. And Ma has 2 different variations with 2 different frequency values. Since this might be a little confusing, here's a little example of each of the structures. For Sa, there is 1. For Ri, for ga, for ma, for pa there is one, for da, for ni. Now, Venkatamaki uses this in different permutations and combinations. Let us now find out how Venkatamaki got 72 ragas in his Melakarta system. Here we have the basic Saptaswaras, and we discussed that there were some variations to a few of these notes. Now, a simple way of finding the number of ragas will be by multiplying all these numbers together and using the theory of combinations to find out the number of ragas. But in this situation, once multiplied, we get the number 162, which is not the 72 that Venkatamaki got. Now, what are these other extra ragams that we have found out here? Now, if you're a very, very close listener, you might have been able to tell that a few notes repeated itself. For example, Re 2 and Ga 1, two different notes, have the exact same frequency. Now, this poses a challenge. Amongst the scales that we've included, there may have been some scales that included both Re2 and Ga1. Now, this cannot be possible as they have the same exact note and hence we would not be able to form a coherent raga. Similarly, if we were to take the3 and ni1, in this case, the3 has a higher frequency than ni1 and hence it could not form a proper raga at all. Hence, Venkatamaki decided that these ragas cannot be included within the ambit of the Melakarta system, and hence he discounted them all and he weeded out these anomalies. Now, how did he figure out the number of anomalies there? Let us take the example where we fix Re2 and Ga1 in the scale, and using the idea of combinations yet again, we will be able to determine the number of times such a scale has appeared where both Re2 and Ga1 also appear. And this turns out to be 18 for this example. Now, as we discussed before, there are 6 such examples, and hence, on discounting all the anomalies, we get such a equation wherein we get the total number of scales possible as 54 or 162 minus 18 into 6. Yet we still don't seem to be getting the 72 ragas that Venkatamaki had gotten. Why is that? Now let us take an anomalous pair of scales. Here I've taken one where I fixed Re2 and Ga1 and another one where I fixed the3 and Ni1. Now, if I were to also fix the3 and Ni1 in the first scale, we will get two such combinations that we have deducted. And in the second case, let me fix Re2 and Ga1. And you might have noticed that we have deducted the same two scales yet again, which means we've deducted the same scale a total of 4 times, where in actuality we should have deducted it only twice, which means we must add 2 scales back such that we do not deduct far too many scales. And if you also notice, there are 9 such anomalous pairs possible, hence we must add back 18 different scales to our system. Now we've gone through a large journey. We've started with 162, then we've subtracted 18 into 6, and now we are adding 2 into 9 or 18 ragams, and finally we get our golden number 72, the one that Venkatamaki had gotten. Using this, he created the chakra system in which he defined all these ragams in different chakras, which still lives very relevant today. I thank you for listening to this session and I hope you had a great time.